So Nolvus is a 2000 plus mods mod pack that you'll frequently see videos of, kind of showing off the graphical fidelity of them and of it and bragging about it. And you'll often see people with a high-end rig showing it off. And as a more average person, I wanted to try it out and see how well it worked and if I could complete it normally with my regular mid PC. And um, everything I've seen, all videos I've seen relating to it, often seem like promotional material more than actual reviews or anything of it. And I wanted to do an actual review of it. And it's not that like I like it. I like this aesthetic and everything, but to me, a lot of this is kind of fluff and not that important to it. Like, I'm not a big graphics guy. You have to go to the Nolvus website if you want to play it. You have to get an auto installer. The auto installer was banned from Nexus. Now, the alleged reason for why it was banned from Nexus is illegal redistribution of Unity assets. I can't say for sure that's why, but that's the only reason I was ever given. I'd recommend that you have a graphics card better than a 1080 Ti. A 1080 Ti is part of the minimum requirements. I had a 2070 Super and I could mostly get it to run well. Uh, like around here near Riften is my computer struggling the most, but it tended to be a little bit better than this. Like I was targeting 60 and I was kind of near 60 most of the time. It's the game's intended to be played with a mouse and keyboard and in third person, and I think they're trying to emulate a kind of Souls-like experience. So you have like high, medium, and low stances, and there's targeting, and there's dodge rolling and parrying and blocking. And if you try to use a controller for any reason, it totally broke the dodge mechanic for me. If you try to play in first person and use the targeting at the same time, you can only dodge forward. If you don't use the targeting, I found I was able to dodge left and right and back. There's the Mages Guild quest line because it uses College of Winterhold expanded. You'll get a quest early on from Tolfdir where he teaches you a water breathing spell and asks you to follow Arnell to the shore, and he'll start running back and forth between the college and the side of a mountain, and you have to spam talk to Arnell and he'll automatically teleport, and then you can walk over to where he teleports to actually do the quest. No one told me about that, and I had to figure that out. There's a few mods that are a little bit inappropriate, in my opinion, and kind of creepy. An example is like immersive wenches, which you can pretty much guess what that implies. I had some graphical issues I'd like to kind of point out. So there were several occasions where I'd have just missing textures for whatever reason. I wouldn't say it happens super often, but it would be similar stone structures like this usually. There were multiple occasions where I'd have enemies, like a single enemy in a group, the animations wouldn't load, so they'd be in a constant T pose. And so most encounters, the animations worked fine, but like group enemy encounters, the animations wouldn't load for one guy. This is another example of a troll being broken for me. Some weird, like, it looks like one of the textures is really stretched or messed up. I'd see that occasionally too. On some occasions, there was also like vegetation clipping through geometry and looking weird. And, this is a group of people compiling several mods. I know they don't develop the mods themselves, but there's certain issues like this of things kind of conflicting or weirdness. And like you never see any of that in the promotional videos. That's a sky shard from a mod called Sky Shards. Eventually, while I was playing, it broke for me, and I could no longer absorb sky shards to get a skill point and get stronger. I'd be able to interact with them and quote unquote absorb them, but it wouldn't register. I heard that the reason why it's the Sky Shards mod breaks like that is if you ever interact with one while transformed, it totally breaks the mod. It's very difficult for me to tell if I did that because I was playing so long. I know I was playing upwards of 80 hours somewhere at the very least. I played through part of the main quest. I played through Classical Lichdom, so I hit level 30 before I started knocking out like major questline stuff. I did the companion quest. I did Dragonborn. I did Classical Lichdom. When I did Dragonborn after Classical Lichdom, and the last time I had Classical Lichdom installed and tried to use the black books in Dragonborn, it sort of broke. But in this mod pack, it worked just fine. I got to the point where all I had was the rest of the main quest left, the Thieves Guild quest and the Dark Brotherhood quest left. I started doing the Thieves Guild quest. I got like 90% of the way through the Thieves Guild quest. I got to the very end where you're supposed to confront the last guy in the Thieves Guild quest. And then my game started crashing to desktop every 20 to 30 minutes and I had to stop playing. And I can't say for sure why I had this problem, but I kind of thought the entire point behind a mod pack like this with an auto installer was to idiot proof it, and it ideally wouldn't get to the point where you're crashing constantly and completely unable to play the game. Otherwise, to me, what's the point of even doing a mod pack thing like this? What I liked about it is Ordinator, and the way Ordinator works, it always makes Skyrim better. It essentially gives you multiple class builds based around every single skill. I played sort of a spell sword character because it's easy to turn that into kind of a jack of all trades character, so you can potentially do every single faction quest line. It also comes with Odin and Apocalypse, which are spell mods, Summer Mist, which is an enchantment mod. The only issue with all of this stuff together is it starts weighting highly in favor of mages over other classes, because magic starts to become like more of a superpower, and it gives you fast travel and infinite storage and all other kinds of things like that. So it becomes way more useful. Like if you just wanted to be a fighter with heavy armor, and never use magic, you're kind of hurting yourself. The enemy variety was generally pretty good. A little bit different. I never really played with any kind of enemy mods before now, but like vampire layers were way more dangerous, where you'd have all kinds of strong vampire beast like creatures, and there were all kinds of undead enemies that made the game way harder, like all kinds of skeletons and things like that I really appreciated. Um, Eventually, the Sunhelm survival mod broke for me, and like I'd get infinitely exhausted or hungry or thirsty, and I couldn't relieve myself of those things, so I had to just disable it. The thing though that I think prevents anyone, I think nobody should play Nolvus though. This is like my big sticking point to it. Is if you're an average person and you don't have a Nexus premium account for downloading mods, then it means every time you download a mod, the auto installer will point you to a Nexus download page, and it will highlight the download button so you can just click it. You have to wait 30 seconds. And when you're doing this like 2,000 times, it means you have to sit at your computer clicking a button for like 16 hours just to be able to download this mod pack and be able to play it. And if you do get a Nexus premium account, think of it this way. Nexus is the one who banned them from being able to distribute their auto installer. So you have to give money to those people who banned the Nolvus team to have an install experience that isn't absolutely miserable. And I don't like, to me, all of that's bad. I know that one final thing I wanted to say, they have a Discord that they'll offer technical help to you. But if you're just one regular person in a crowd and you're asking for help, it's oftentimes difficult to get someone to help you troubleshoot a problem. So it's not that they intentionally ignore anybody, but like they don't have the kind of level of support to always deal with the flurry of questions that they may get. And so you're kind of screwed and on your own when dealing with most of the technical problems. At least that's how it was for me. And if you try to just modify your install, like I was messing with an INI file to adjust the dodging in TK dodge when I didn't know my controller being plugged in was messing with it. And just messing with that, for whatever reason, my entire HUD broke and like things were not aligned properly. And there was other weirdness like that. It's like a tapestry where if you just tug at a thread, at times I just had things entirely fall apart for no apparent reason. I had no idea what happened whatsoever. And that's like, it's a mod pack. You're not supposed to have these problems if it's a mod pack. It's supposed to be idiot proof and just kind of run decently and allow you to at least play through the vanilla experience of the game, I would think. But like that's sort of why I can't recommend it. But it's mostly the 16 hours of sitting at your computer thing. I would say just don't do that. It's not worth it.